much sattvic. We need to become Virat. Pakistan attacks us in Bombay or Mumbai, 26/11. So many innocent people killed. There are terrorist bombing all over. Pakistan is behind it, we know it. We even know that they come from one of the 53 camps in what they call as Pakistan occupied Kashmir. But in the first 2 days, we make lots of noise. Now we'll have nothing to do with Pakistan. But very soon we want to play cricket with them. We want their cinema stars to come here, Qawwali groups. Business as usual. Not realizing that every day this is creating problems for us. There was a time, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, where Americans used to ask me, how is it that in all the terrorist attacks, no Muslim of India is involved? No Muslim is a member of Al-Qaeda. And it was a fact. But afterwards, now we are finding slowly that people are getting affected. Because the Hindu is not reacting. And the Hindu is not reacting, therefore the terrorists are selling the dream that one day we rule for 800 years, we may rule again. And some people are getting affected. Plenty of money is coming, so unemployed youths are getting infected. So we need, therefore, to have a clear mind that for defense of country, we are not going to hesitate. This is what Swami Chinmayananda used to call the Arjuna disease. Shall I fight? Shall I not fight? I mean, we are spending all our time on this. What to do, so much bloodshed will take place. What about the morality of it? This is Ramchandraji's temple here. When Ram hid behind a tree and killed Bali, what did Bali say? Hey Kshatriya Putra, what is this cowardice you have shown, hiding behind a tree and killing me? Come before you, if you had come before me and you had gone into battle and I died, I would have considered it an honor. But this cowardly way you have done it, where is your morality? So what did Ram say? Ram said, who are you to give me a lecture on morality? After stealing Sugriva's wife and his kingdom, you give me lecture on morality. You have no right to talk to me on morality. Morality is only between two moral individuals, not between an amoral person and a moral person. Later on, Lakshman asked Ram, strictly speaking, why couldn't you have killed him in the open? He said, why? But he said, Bali was a better person than Sugriva. So yes, Ram said yes, he was a better person. But he had committed to Ravan and entered into an agreement with Ravan, a defense treaty with Ravan. And I have to go to Lanka with an army. Where am I going to get the army? The only way I could get the army is if I kill him and put Sugriva in his place and take Sugriva's army and go to Lanka, and that is why killing of Bali was necessary. This is called strategy. You can't sit there worrying about your personal morals. There are morals which are personal, there are morals which are national. When it comes to defending the nation, we have to use morality in the context of what is good for the nation. That is why Bhishmacharya in his last lectures to Arjuna said that in the dharma is to prevail, but at times of war it is apad dharma. And apad dharma, provided it has social sanction, different. For instance, in the Mahabharata war also, you know that Krishna sent his chakra and hit the sun so that they could retire for the day earlier than it was scheduled because they were losing the battle. Was that ethical? Was it ethical to kill Karna when he was down on the ground? What did Krishna say to Arjuna? What ethics you are talking about? When he was sat and watched and egged on people to disrobe your wife, where was the ethics then? Kill him now. That is a proper reading of our scriptures will tell you what is the difference between what is called as Rashtra Charitra and Vyaktigat Charitra, that is national character and individual character. In times of war, there is something called Apadharma. We don't know that. Everywhere I'll get a lecture. No, we should be nice to everybody, all religions are the same. They're not the same. Islam says that everybody should be converted who is not Muslim. Necessarily kill them, call them kafir. What does Christianity say? Same thing. If you don't believe in Christianity, you are pagan. You have to be saved. And occasionally if necessary to be killed. So these religions are not the same as the one Hinduism which says that all religions lead to God. Is there any other religion which says all religions lead to God? Only Hinduism says that. And that was carried in other religions. Nanak also used to say the same thing. None of the religions where the Prophet came out of Hinduism, whether it's Jainism, Buddhism or Sikhism, we have ever said that ours is the only way. We may say ours is the best way. That is like going from Chicago to Detroit, you can go by the turnpike, which is Hinduism, or you can go by the village road, which will be traffic lights all the way. But both will lead you to the same place, but obviously the turnpike will take you faster. So we don't say all religions are equal. We only say that all religions lead to God, but ours leads faster and better. That is we have also been, one of our weaknesses being our civilized behavior in the past. I'm not talking about present so much as why we allowed Islam and Christianity for Mughals and the British to rule our country. And that is because our rules of warfare were too civilized. By the time we woke up, it was too late. What are the rules of war? Fighting will not start till the sun rises, and fighting shall not continue after the sun sets. Once the sun sets, you go back to your tent and go to sleep. Next morning you get up, have a bath, go to the bathroom, everything, then go to the battlefield. Rule number 1 was that. Rule number 2 was that you will not fight in the population centers, you will not fight in the agricultural fields, but you will fight in open Maidan. So Kurukshetra was an open Maidan. When Ravan had to fight Ram, he didn't tell Ram, you come inside my fort if you can and fight me, and close his doors. He himself came out, open Maidan, and fought Ram. And third was that if after the battle is over, the losing side apologizes, does prayaschit as it's called, then you return everything to him and give him a goodbye. So Prithviraj Chauhan forgave Muhammad Ghori how many times? 16 times, 15 times, something, large number of times. Because each time he apologized. Till Ghori realized that these Hindus, they will not start the fight till the morning the sun rises. So he attacked at 3 o'clock. This is in his chronicles, it's written that I got my first success when I realized that the Hindus got up in the morning, go to have a bath, and go to the bathroom and all that. So best is to catch them before they do that. and they will feel constipated during the battlefield and not fight very well. Similarly, and of course he kept coming till he learned this lesson. So, and they came at night, they entered the population centers, they destroyed your crops, so therefore they were successful. It took a long time to wake up to this reality. And the first fighter who woke up to this reality was Shivaji. And he said there is no shishtachar with this enemy. So when Afzal Khan invited him for dinner, he went there fully prepared with his iron fangs dipped in poison. And when he said, come on, let's embrace, he killed him because he knew what Afzal Khan was planning. Jawaharlal Nehru criticized Shivaji for that, saying, look at this. In fact, Jawaharlal Nehru had many disparaging remarks about Shivaji, and most Western writers have made disparaging remarks about Shivaji because he was victorious. And he was victorious because he knew fighting the enemy, you cannot fight by the old rules. And that is what we are fighting today also. We were winning in Kashmir, 1947. And what did Jawaharlal Nehru do? He went to the UN. And in the UN, he didn't file under the clause for aggression. He filed under the clause for dispute. Where there was no dispute. Kashmir, the whole of Kashmir, including the Pakistan occupied, belongs to India. Why? Because the Indian Independence Act of 1947, passed by British Parliament to create Pakistan, because there was no Pakistan, so they had to create a Pakistan. For that they needed a statute, and that statute was the Act of Indian Independence, 1947, passed on the 6th of June 1947 by the British Parliament, creating a Pakistan out of India, in which they also played one more mischief. They declared all the princely states as independent countries. So 2/3 of British India was divided into India and Pakistan, and 1/3 of British India was all independent countries, 600 independent countries. But for the sagacity and intelligence of Sardar Patel, who with heroic efforts made 450 kingdoms which had become independent, merge into India using the old method called Samadama Vedandu. Sometimes he persuaded them, sometimes he bribed them, sometimes he threatened them. But ultimately got 450 to merge in India. The others went to Pakistan. One state which he was about to do something about, Jawaharlal Nehru said, it is my state, so give it to me. He made a mess of it. Kashmir, what was the method of amalgamating these kingdoms? The British Parliament passed something called the Instrument of Accession. It was there in the 1935 Constitution. Just picked it up and added it on. The Instrument of Accession, if you read, says a king may merge his country into India or Pakistan without, what am I underlining, without consulting his population, his subject population. And his decision shall be final and irrevocable. That is, the king need not ask the people, do you want to go here or you want to go there? This plebiscite business is not there. It's expressly ruled out. And once he signs it, it becomes part of your country, and it is not revocable. Tomorrow they cannot say, no, we want to reconsider. No, it's over, it's final, once for all. And the Indian Constitution Article 1 says, Once something is a part of India, nobody, not even God, can separate it. Indian territory is inalienable. And for one small village called Berubari, we have had so much difficulty because we had agreed to give it to Bangladesh or the East Pakistan those days. But we could not because the Supreme Court stayed it, saying that no, Article 1 is violated. So nobody can separate any part of India and give it to any other country. So they can go on having peace talks on Siachen and Kashmir and all that, but nobody can separate it constitutionally. But Jawaharlal Nehru went to UN. Who asked him to go to UN? The cabinet did not ask him. Sardar Patel did not ask him. Sardar Patel didn't even know about it. I think Jawaharlal Nehru might have consulted Edwina Mountbatten. Because she was his great advisor. And they went and filed this thing in the UN and declared that we will hold plebiscite. When I was minister, this question had come up once with the Pakistanis. And they said, now that the new government has come, Chandrasekhar's government, maybe you will think of giving us, holding plebiscite. He said, why? He said, because Jawaharlal Nehru gave this commitment. I said, Jawaharlal Nehru gave this commitment on his own, not a cabinet decision. So it's not binding on the future government. If you want plebiscite, go and ask Jawaharlal Nehru. We will not do it. There is no legal basis whatsoever. But we are still talking about Kashmir, to leave out Patgaon, some committee or the other, do give this, give that. What for? It's an inalienable part of India, and whatever is not in India today has to be brought back. That is a commitment that we have in the Constitution. We, in 1965 and 71, our forces won the war. We got parts of Kashmir, which we liberated. Haji Pir in 65. The whole area of Champ, which was the Pakistanis. And what did our government do? They had an agreement, one in Tashkent and another in Simla, where we returned all this back to Pakistan. Why? This is not Pakistani territory. This was all in Kashmir territory. It belongs, it's yours. Today we go and bomb camps in Pakistan held Kashmir. They call it Azad Kashmir. I call it Ghulam Kashmir. But anyway, if you go and bomb, there is no international law violated because it is your territory you are bombing. You can always bomb your own territory. So you can tell the world that we are bombing. So, but the Hindu, no, peace. Peace can only be if it is workable. You can try. Even Lord Krishna went and asked Duryodhana 5 villages, please give 5 villages. And he said no. Later on Draupadi got very angry with Krishna. She said, why did you go? You mean all my honor and all that is sacrificable for 5 villages? So Krishna said, I knew you'll say no, that's why I went and asked him. That for creating a moral argument you can say that we tried our best, we made such simple offers. But we cannot. What is India? We cannot decide every time something happens, whether it's a terrorist attack or anything, that no, let it be now, let's start fresh. Now, that comes to, strengths and weaknesses I've told you. Now let's come to the question of opportunities. Today, Hinduism is silently expanding. Many of us don't know. We know about Islam expanding, we know about Christianity expanding. Hinduism is also expanding. It's the fastest growing religion in Australia, let me tell you. We are getting recruits which you never thought you can get. This whole Hare Ram, Hare Krishna movement has gone into Soviet Union. Then in Hollywood there is an actress called Julia Roberts. She came to India for a shooting and told the crew that and I want to meet some sadhu. So they took her to an ashram, and there she said, I am the richest actress in Hollywood. I got millions of dollars, but I'm not happy. So tell me what is wrong with me. So he said to her, then you'll have to stay 1 week here. So she stayed for 1 week. Then he of course began first by pranayam, then yoga, then he started giving her Gita lectures. Then he taught her something about Upanishads. Then he taught her Dhyana Yoga. And then she was a transformed person. And she came back to America, it was about 2 years ago. She held a press conference, called her husband and children present, and she said, we, the family, including myself, have decided to become Hindus because that's the only way to achieve happiness. And here's a Hollywood actress who you cannot say is brainwashed or anything like that, on her own speed. In Newsweek, there was an article by Lisa Miller, who is an editor of the Newsweek magazine, and she is the title of that article, Now We Are All Hindus. And she argues that actually the American population, without saying so, are slowly beginning to accept the Hindu concepts and internalize it. She says when people discuss why sometimes we make huge efforts and get nothing, and sometimes we do nothing and we get a lot. What is the explanation? She says that the law of karma explains that very well. Then she says now more and more Americans have started cremating their bodies because they think it's scientific. And all these burials and this high cost of doing so is discouraging them. Then all religions lead to God. Sounds much more rational for us Americans. So she said we may not formally convert. And then yoga. All these, she said, slowly is seeping into our system. You know that NASA has made for study of artificial intelligence, the most advanced branch of computer sciences, they've made Sanskrit as compulsory in order to take that course. Because if you go to Google and type, you will see, you will get all the material. They examine this question, how to make the computer a repository of knowledge. So they thought one way of doing it is to make everybody who has lived a full life on retirement speak to the computer, and the computer will then collect all this information and then be in a position later on to act on it. So everybody, because if you are born, you acquire a lot of knowledge, then you die, and the knowledge dies with you. So therefore, they said, let's store it in the computer. Now somebody is speaking in French, somebody is speaking in Spanish, somebody is speaking in Yiddish, no, like that. So they said there should be a common language. What can it be? And they did study a research for 18 years to discover which language it should be. Whether they should invent a new language. And finally, in the Journal of Artificial Intelligence, Dr. Rick Briggs disclosed that they have come to the conclusion, no need to invent a language. There already exists a language that is called Sanskrit, and there is already a phonetic script called Devanagari, and that shall be the basis in the future for storing knowledge in computers. So here now Bush, you may not remember, his last act was to declare any college teaching Sanskrit will get special federal grants. They are like they have learned yoga, and then we thought yoga is respectable. Before that we thought what is all this contortion that is taking place? Same thing is after the Americans learn Sanskrit, then you will also start learning Sanskrit. Or maybe after Americans become Hindus, you will also become Hindus. Now, I think one of our opportunity today is this vast Hindu population across the world, in 26 million of them, in about 40 countries. Some of them have fiercely remained Hindus. Guyana, Trinidad, what atrocities were heaped on them to change their religion. They were brought in forcibly as indentured labor from India. I think it was in Trinidad when they wanted to build a temple. They sought their British masters' permission to build it. And after much struggle, the British finally agreed and said, yes, you can, but not in Trinidad mainland. There's a small island there, 2 kilometers into the ocean, and there you can go and build the temple. It will not give you boats or anything. So can you believe it? Over several years, the Hindus of Trinidad put stone on their head and swam 2 kilometers and deposited the stone. And finally, they built a temple after several years devoted to Lord Shiva and Lord Rama. They have remained Hindus. Trinidad, Guyana, Mauritius, Fiji. These people, South Africa, Malaysia, these people didn't come there on their own like you people have come here and building this wonderful fine temple. They were brought in as indentured labor. They had to work 18 hours a day. And they were told, you cannot during these 18 hours, and there were no holidays, you cannot build your temple. So after working 18 hours, they went for that was the devotion, they went and built the temple. We have Hindus in Kazakhstan, we don't even know that they are there. And today they are all under attack. And that attack is for a variety of reasons. In Russia, they are feeling that this Hare Rama, Hare Krishna movement is gaining so much ground that somehow it should be stopped, otherwise everybody will become Hindu in Russia. I mean, it's an exaggeration, but that's how they feel. So therefore, now time has come for the government of India to act as a defender of Hinduism all over the world. This is an opportunity for us because the Hindus become a voice. I'm happy in the United States you have something called Hindu American Foundation. And I think now it is being planned by people like Prasad Jayaramanchi also, that they should also join in this kind of effort to influence the American senators and congressmen in defending the atrocities being done to the Hindus in various parts. For example, they have managed to get resolutions brought in on the treatment of Hindus in Bangladesh. You know, in 1947 there were 32% Hindus. Today is down to 7%. The only scholar who is writing anything about it is sitting here. And Malaysia, same thing, temples are under attack. Indonesia. So you find this happening in Guyana, same thing happening. I think the government must take a stand. You think that if I demolished churches, the American government will not ask us what the International Council for Religious Freedom or something they have. Jayalalitha got one bill passed that no one shall convert using money or force or threat of divine displeasure. And if such a thing takes place, you will be, the conversion will be declared null and void. You will be surprised that the American Consul General visited her and said, this is an unfriendly act. And Jayalalitha got scared. She's a cinema actress, after all. Getting scared is normal for cinema actresses. And she withdrew the bill. She withdrew the act. In other parts of India, you have this act now. In Himachal, you have this act. And the Christian organizations filed a case in court. So the Himachal government requested me to come and argue. And I went there to argue. And of course, we are going to win the case. And the judgment will come any day now. But the judge asked me one question. What is wrong if all Hindus decide to convert to, say, Islam or Christianity of their own free will? Is there anything wrong? I said there is only one problem with that. Our constitution says secularism, and our constitution also says secularism is part of the basic structure of the constitution, which means that there is a part of the constitution which no parliament can amend under any circumstance. Tomorrow no parliament can come and say that by majority vote we have decided that Sonia Gandhi will be the Queen of India. It is illegal per se, even if they have majority. 2/3 majority, even then they can't do that. That's because democracy, republican constitution is a basic structure of the constitution. So one of the basic structures of the constitution is secularism. And I said that supposing we are a 100% Muslim country, will there be secularism? Is there secularism in Saudi Arabia? Do you think that the Hindu population there can celebrate Diwali? Go and find out. I mean, you may not be able to come back if you celebrate Diwali there. You can't even carry a photograph of Ramchandra ji in your pocket. You cannot have Satyanarayana Puja inside your house. Inside your house also you cannot. And now they have just taken out a circular, Saudi Arabian government, saying that warning non-Muslim population of Saudi Arabia that at the time of Ramzan, please don't demonstrate by going to restaurants and eating during the daytime, because it offends the Muslim who has to observe a fast. But that's their country, they're doing it. You can't build a temple. You can build a temple here, but you can't build a temple in Saudi Arabia. So, consequently, I said that for India to remain secular, the minimum condition is that the overwhelming population of India must be Hindu, otherwise it will not be a secular country. And you got proof. See what is happening in Kashmir. They are destroying temples every day. They have driven out 500,000 Hindus from the valley. The Pandits and Sikhs, Hindus and Sikhs. They've driven them out. They are in refugee camps. In your own country, they are in refugee camps. Wherever you find Muslim population in majority, you will find this problem. What is happening in Assam? They are emerging as a near majority population. And there is rioting going on. They are cleaning up, like they cleaned up in Kashmir. What about in Mau in Uttar Pradesh? You can't celebrate Ramayana. You cannot have Ram songs for Ram during after Diwali in Mau in Uttar Pradesh. Or what about Kerala? Kerala, one Christian professor was setting an exam paper. He was Professor English. He was setting an exam paper, Professor Joseph. And he was a lazy fellow, I think. He just saw a big article in the newspaper. He lifted that and put it in the question paper and said, correct the punctuation marks and grammar and syntax of this article. And in that article was one sentence derogatory to Muhammad. So in Kerala, the Shariat court met. Now Shariat court is illegal, but in Kerala, who's there to ask? They are part of the government now, the Muslim League. So the Shariat court met and said, this slander we cannot stomach, so this professor's hand should be cut off. Shariat court order. When he was going for a morning walk, 4 boys came and cut his hand off. And the Christian school or college of which he was a professor, they even removed him from his professorship. The argument they give is that if we continue, maybe the Muslims will attack the college also. So therefore, for continuing the college, we have to remove. Now this is happening in your country because Malappuram, all these things are Muslim majority. I don't blame the Muslims, their mind is clear. If they are majority, they'll kill you. If they are in minority, they will agitate. And if you are very strong, like in Australia, then they will surrender. In Australia, one Imam said that we don't like uniform civil code, we want our own Sharia. So the Prime Minister was a lady. She made a statement that if you don't like uniform civil code, then and you want Sharia, then for Sharia you find another country. Australia is not going to give you. Next day, all Muslim organizations said this Imam is a mad fellow who asked for some uniforms. So we are all happy with uniform civil code. Will the Muslims of India say we are happy with the uniform civil code? No. Because in India the majority is Rasgullah, you see. It is not strong, it's not united like Australia. Same thing in the United States also, it will be very difficult, although the United States is not as hard majority as in Australia. So I would say that here you will find a situation where unless you seize this opportunity to unite the Hindus, you're going to be in trouble. Wherever in India, wherever, no matter even if it's a small place. Those of you from Tamil Nadu, please go to Vellore. Near Vellore there is a town panchayat which is called Mel Vishara. There 25% of the population in Mel Vishara town panchayat is scheduled castes. They are called Adi Dravidas. They came to see me one day. Said, please come to our town panchayat. So why? He says for 20 years, 25 years, we have not got any civic amenities. Why? I said, because the Mel Visharam town panchayat is 75% Muslim, elections take place, they get 100% of the seats, and then they say, convert, or else no civic amenities for you. I said, that cannot be. They said, it is. I said, I got all the proof of it. Have you made petitions, applications, chief minister, MLA? They said, yes, they showed me this big of file. So I went there and I was shocked to see the Muslim area very well developed and the Hindu area, nothing. Roads, terrible condition, no schools, school building, whatever there was in dilapidated condition. And these people are growing palm. And what these people are doing is that the tanneries, water, they were diverting for irrigation to the palm tree and they were withering away. So I went to the Madras High Court. And first when I argued, the Chief Justice couldn't believe it. He said, what is this? You are making communal propaganda? I said, if you think that being a minority in Hindu is impossible, then I will not come because minority protection is there in the constitution. And these are Hindus who are in minority. I have come for the minority, I have not come for Hindus. Then he said, okay, I want to hear the argument. What are the materials? So I showed him all. The Chief Justice was so shocked that he finally gave a direction to the governor, set it right this discrimination, otherwise I will order that Mel Visharam should be divided into two village panchayats, one Hindu and one Muslim, so that the Hindus can live with self-respect. On that threat, the governor intervened, and now of course everybody is living as Mel Visharam town panchayat. But after that I got letters from 40 town panchayats in Tamil Nadu. Please come here also, please come here. Tondi in Rameshwaram, like that. Same thing is happening here. Fortunately, we publicized the Mel Visharam judgment so much that slowly other places also things are improving. But this is the problem when you don't realize that how fortunate we are in the value system we have today, that we have an overwhelming majority of Hindus. But we are not united. That's why I talk about the need for global unity, where the government stands up for Hindus. I'm not saying you favor Hindus, not at all. In fact, I have nothing against Muslims. I regard them as my family members because I know that their DNA says that their ancestors were Hindus. I want them to admit it. They mullahs say, no, you can't admit it. Because in Islam, even Muhammad could not admit that he had a mother, because his mother had not converted to Islam. So she was not allowed to be recognized. So they have a religious problem. But I am saying, I am not talking about religion, I am talking about the genetics. In India, all of us have the same DNA. Brahmin, scheduled caste, everybody. In any case, this caste system was not birth-based. It is all a degeneration that is taking place. I even found once that Raj Thakre's DNA and the UP taxiwala's DNA is the same. So consequently, I am not against the Muslims in the sense that they are some foreigners or something. They are Indians. They are Hindus they are from Hindu ancestry. India is a land of Hindus and those others whose ancestors were Hindus. And when that happens, when that acknowledgement takes place, we all become one. So consequently, I say to you that today we have an opportunity. And that opportunity can only be, this is an opportunity which we can't afford to miss. Because we are seeing now what is happening in Assam. Same thing will happen in Kerala very soon. You see what has happened in Kashmir? The same thing has happened in Kashmir. Kashmir, it has gone so far that people are being driven out. Article 370 was created by Jawaharlal Nehru so that Hindus don't flood Kashmir. But now we are finding that not only Hindus are not flooding Kashmir, but whatever Hindus are there, they are being driven out. So what we should do, in my opinion, is to ask, we have got 1 crore ex-servicemen, of which 1 million are very able-bodied. We should give them weapons and give them money and say, go and settle down in Kashmir. Because we don't want this population ratio of Hindus and Muslims to change. Of course, the Kashmir government says we will take back all the Kashmiri Pandits and the Sikhs and see that their law and order is protected, then no problem. The same thing we find in Bangladesh. 1/3 of Bangladesh Muslim population has come to India. Now, why was Bangladesh created? It was created originally as part of Pakistan. Pakistan was created because the British said in the floor of Parliament in Britain that those Muslims who do not want to live with Hindus, they must have a separate country. Otherwise there will be bloodshed. So Pakistan was created for those Muslims who can't live with Hindus. Now after getting Pakistan, which has now become Bangladesh, these very Muslims are coming to live with us Hindus. This is very strange. So what should India do? Should tell Bangladesh, take back your Muslims. Otherwise give us 1/3 of your territory to us. If they don't agree, then send an army column from Khulna to Sylhet and cut off the northern part of Bangladesh, which is 1/3 of Bangladesh. Pakistan was created for those Muslims who can't live with Hindus. Now those Muslims want to live with Hindus. And what is the need for so much territory be given to them? They can't have the best of both worlds. So that kind of Virat attitude, not Sattvic attitude. Mahatma Gandhi was a great Hindu, but he was a Sattvic Hindu. We don't want Sattvic Hindu. We want Lord Krishna. We want Lord Rama. Virat Hindu. Virat Hindu is what we need, and that is necessary today because of the threats we are facing. This is an opportunity, but look at the threat. Pakistan will be taken over by Taliban. First country they will attack is your country. Because Taliban says India is an unfinished chapter of Islamic history. Why? Because everywhere else they made 100% Muslim. But in India they have not yet managed to make it 100% Muslim. So they openly say, this is an unfinished chapter of Islam. They will attack you. If you want to wait till they attack you, then it's a different matter. We will fight. I mean, I am sure that the Indian Hindu population is sufficient that when there's a crisis, we all rise up, like an emergency, rose up. When China attacked, we all became one, even parted with gold for national defense fund. So, but we are going to face serious threats. There's a threat within your country, which you now see in Assam. You will see it soon in Kerala. You will see it more in Uttar Pradesh. You've got to have answers for it. And the answers, if you ask someone to know what ails the Hindu community, it is this ignorance of the threats that you are facing. Most people say, no, nothing is happening. It's not so. We are sitting on a time bomb, which will burst one day, killing us all unless we take necessary steps to defuse it. The second threat we face is this westernization. I'm not saying modernization is bad, but westernization, families cracking up, lack of respect for parents, lack of respect for age. Then this materialism, which is leading to greed. Greed is leading to corruption. I had a student at IIT when I was a professor there, called Rajat Gupta. Now I find he's going to jail. What was his problem? He wanted to be the richest Indian amongst the NRIs. And he thought a few million is not enough. And therefore he was looking for shortcuts. That is what greed has done. Much of the corruption in India is because of greed. This greed has come through a one-dimensional commitment to materialism. Hinduism has never advocated one-dimensional commitment to materialism. They always, Hindus say, Sanatana Dharma says, materialism must be harmonized with the advancement of spiritual values. That is what material values are supposed to be. And that's what we are not doing. We have, therefore, all kinds of problems. We need to be ruled by Indians. On corruption, the fight will continue. Raja will go to jail, will get convicted. People say, why is he out? Well, this is bail. He can't support a democratic system because you are angry with Raja. Kanimuri will also be convicted, will go to jail. So will Maran. Maran's turn is coming very soon. Chidambaram, I will not let him till he goes inside.
What is the company you are representing?
But it won't end there. It's going up higher and
What
higher.
company you are representing to take this video?
That's why the Congress is so keen to protect Chidambaram, because they know who my next target is.
That's okay.
I think I told you last time when I was here that the jail superintendent of Tihar jail told a friend of mine that please tell the Swami not to send so many Madrasis to jail. So I asked him, why, what's his problem? He says, his complaint is that the cook doesn't know how to make masala dosa and idli, and these people come and create problems for him. So I said, tomorrow if some Italian comes and asks for pizza, what will he do? People say, why are you so much against Sonia Gandhi? She wears a sari, she puts a dhoti sometimes, she does namaste, she's trying to be a daughter-in-law. Should I accept her? I said, you see, in Ramayana, when Ravan came to kidnap Sita, he did not come dressed as Ravan. He came dressed as a sadhu, wearing his bakla. So Sonia Gandhi's sari is not going to fool me. I know her real intentions. And we have seen it in the extent of corruption. She is perhaps the most corrupt of all. 100,000 crores in foreign bank accounts. And what secrecy? Why can't she tell you what she is suffering from? Why she went to Sloan Kettering? What is all this secrecy about? Not that it can remain secret for very long, we find out maybe. But I am saying that today we have to understand that our values, India is worth keeping. India is worth, its integrity is worth safeguarding. If it continues its Hindu traditions. Yes, others have contributed, I am not denying. But then Ganga river flows, so many small rivers join. But the name of Ganga doesn't change, it is still Ganga. So you may have Islam contributing to Hinduism and Christianity contributing and X, Y contributing. But ultimately the mainstream of our country is the Hindu culture. That has to be defended. We have to defend it with clarity. The first clarity, that is the cure I am suggesting to you. Is we must have our identity clear. What are we? We are Indians means what? We have a passport, that's Indian. No, we belong to this country means what? We belong to what part of this country? Or what historic phase of this country? Do you accept Ramayana and Mahabharata? You can't say I accept only Quran. Quran was not India, it was founded in Middle East. Therefore, there must be an identity, and I say the identity of India is, an identity of an Indian is either he is a Hindu or is someone who proudly acknowledges that his ancestors were Hindus. That's how we become one family. The second thing is our correct history. We don't know what our history is. We don't even know when Chanakya